I just turned 60, and honestly, I wasn't prepared for how I was going to feel hitting this milestone. While this has been a time of reflection, I'm really more focused now on what's to come. This year is about embracing change and making it the springboard for the next chapter of my life. And of course, I wanted to make it the best it can be. I want to share my thoughts with you on how I want to approach this new chapter of my life. You know what? Something I've realized too in the stage of my life, that I have become my mom. And I think a lot of us realize that at some point that we become our parents. I thought, well, I'd have this chat with you about how I want just how I'm kind of seeing the next chapter of my life, that I'd make some vegan banana bread with you. I've got my recipe here, and I'm doing it because I've got some bananas that need to be eaten, and something has to be done with it, and nobody will eat them when they're like this. But the reason I say that I feel like I'm my mom, because when we were cleaning out her apartment years ago, when she had passed away from Alzheimer's, we always knew that she was a lifelong learner. She had very hard of hearing. Her speech was affected, and English was her second language. She learned to speak English in her 20s when we moved to Canada. So she read and read and read and wrote and wrote and wrote. And she was always researching things, everything from health, cooking recipes, and to Christianity. She was a real, had a strong faith. One thing about her, though, is when we emptied her bookshelves, there were some spots 3 books deep of self-help books. And I have come to the realization that I'm done with that. Too many times have I trust a person's input, and this has only happened over the last, in my 30s and on. And I guess I felt like I needed somebody else to tell me how to fix things and work through things. So I was starting to get involved back then with reading self-help books. Then it was listening to podcasts, consuming in various forms, whether it's audible books or reading books. It was about self-help. And I realize now that I'm way smarter than that. We all have the wisdom in us to come to common sense conclusions. And I think we have been marketed to and sold so much kind of BS information that we need all these people to tell us what we should do in all these instances. I, didn't have the easiest childhood growing up, and I made a lot of mistakes, but I also made a lot of decisions based on what I was taking in, the information I was taking in, and used my own common sense. So I am going back to that. I am not going to buy or listen to self-help books. I'm not going to watch videos on self-help. I'm going to do things that interest me for interest. Educational maybe, but not self-help, because I know that I have the wisdom inside me. And if I need to talk to somebody, I can hire a therapist, pay for that, or talk to my family or close friends. But as far as contributing to this huge mega industry of self-help, I'm tired of it. But that's just my opinion. I'm curious to know what you think about that. I made a note that I said, I'm going to make decisions. I'm going to learn to retrust myself, and I'm not going to listen to people who claim to have all the answers anymore. It's time to make my own decisions, create my own plans without relying on someone else's advice or books that claim to have all the answers. And I'm curious to know, have you felt inundated, especially as we get older? We go through things, so we start to have, especially if you've made bad decisions like we all do, you start to feel a little bit you don't trust yourself anymore. And I think we all go through that, but we can't let ourselves fall into this trap of never trusting ourselves and our own wisdom and how we think and believe. So anyways, I'm really curious to know what you think. Let me know. I used to rely on morning journaling so much in tough times. And there came a point when I realized that I was actually not looking forward to that time in the morning like I used to. And I started to resent spending 30 minutes in the morning journaling. And at that point, I thought, well, why am I wasting that time if it's no longer serving me like it did in the past? It did wonders for me when I needed it, but it was time to let go because I didn't have a need at that point to do it to that extent. Even though I still journaled, I would not put myself through the process of doing it first thing in the morning and for a period of time. It was just more spontaneous. But I have come full circle now because I am missing it. I want to slow down and enjoy life again. And I've realized that when I put my thoughts down on paper, whether it's just things that are on my mind or hopes and dreams like goals or things that I'm trying to resolve, I find that I'm more, I hate to say it like this, but living in the moment. I'm slowing down because I'm actually thinking about what I'm doing and and I'm thinking about events that are going on in my life right then and there. Writing down how I'm feeling forces me to slow down. It forces me to look at myself and my plans and the thoughts that I'm having. And I can't think of a better way to start the day. This is my year before retirement, so this is going to be the practice run. I want to practice going back to writing freestyle and just letting my thoughts flow because nothing slows me down more than having to write things down on paper. I'm not sure how you feel about that, but especially if this is my intention for the year to make it a kind of a lead up to my retirement, I think it'll serve me better. I've been so tied up with time constraints in the past and even to an extent now that I'm looking forward to just slowing down and having to reflect on my thoughts and my plans and my goals, whether it's for long-term future or just for that day, instead of mindlessly wasting time doing things like scrolling and watching things that aren't benefiting me. This will force me to really think about what I want to do and plan for that day. So I'm doing things more intentionally. And I think journaling in the morning will signal to me that I am taking time to do things that I truly enjoy. And this, I think, will be a great lead up to the retirement year next year. And I'm going to start this practice. I've already started it. I'm going to continue this writing in the morning, but not have too many restrictions around it, but just take that time in the morning to write down whatever is on my mind because I think it's that time again for me to not only relieve stress, but think about more about the kind of future and kind of days that I want to have. Do you ever wonder how you had the time to do the things you used to do? Maybe you had kids like me. I used to work shift work, long hours, young kids, and I still did things on the side. Plus, I had to taxi them around from school to whatever event and sport thing that they were into, or dance, and so on and so on. So, what's going on now? It's funny. We do go through these stages, and I swear Mother Nature did that to us. Gave us so much energy back when we were young and with our kids so that we can raise them because things have changed. But now that I have more time on my hands, I really want to get back into the things that I have enjoyed, the things that I've had to put off due to restraints of having family. With more free time, I want to start enjoying the things that maybe I've put off for far too long, try new things. But with this, there has to be a new approach because I'm not the same as I was 10, 20, 30 years ago. I've talked to my friends and my colleagues, and they feel the same. It's Mother Nature's way. Our energy is not the same as it was years ago, and that's for a very good reason, I'm sure. So because our energy levels are different, things take a little bit more planning. And right now, I want to start looking into doing all those things that I used to love. Like, for instance, knitting. I was never an expert knitter. I'm just beginner, maybe intermediate. And then when I put the knitting down for long stretches of time, I feel like I'm right back at the beginning. So I'm going to slowly start introducing that again for myself. Nothing big, no huge projects, but I just want to be knitting a little bit so it doesn't feel so new every time I start something or want to try a new project. Another thing that I want to do is baking, and not some, finicky, really artistic things that take a lot of effort. I get frustrated. I'm not that good at those types of things, but I want to do more rustic type baking. I want to bake bread, simple breads, nothing fancy, but I would love just to be able to make my own bread and not have to buy any. I love fresh bread out of the oven, warm. It's so delicious. And even just bread to dunk in some olive oil and balsamic, it's so yummy. I like cooking, and I've really loved experimenting with plant-based cooking and learning how to cook because I was not somebody that grew up cooking at home. It's something I learned on my own, and I love doing that, but I really want to get into baking. Even things like banana bread, like I'm doing today, rustic loaves, casseroles, all that kind of stuff. So I am looking forward to that, and I think slowly I'll start introducing that over this year too. Just every once in a while, I'm going to try baking something. Then there is the garden. This is what I love. We were away, so my garden has started, or I'll be starting more of it a bit late. When we have had gardens and we've had all kinds of things growing, everybody loves it. My husband and I love to come out and grab our food and then cook something with it, make our meals with it. So I am so looking forward to spending time and growing this garden into a really substantial amount of space so that we can grow more things and experiment with more things. And we've got fruit trees, we've got some blueberry bushes, and we've got apple and pear tree. We love doing that. I mean, we always have to, hope that the bears and deer don't get to them, but that's okay. Then, of course, we have our grandson and one that's on the way. So that will take a big chunk of our time because we love to spend time with our grandkids, and that is a priority for me. So that's already happening, but that'll be something that will be a huge um, bonus in my retirement and will take up a big substantial amount of time for sure. That is the start of the things that I'm planning for the year. And those are the things that I want to look forward to in the future. I also want to be traveling. My husband and I go on motorcycle rides, which I absolutely love. Not as much as he does. He will go riding for days and days, long stretches. I like to have shorter rides and have a nice destination. Then, of course, I have this channel. I took a few weeks off, and lo and behold, I really started to miss making videos. And the thing is, I never thought of myself as a creative person. And yet the things that I enjoy about making videos is the editing and putting it all together, coming up with the ideas. I don't necessarily care for the filming part of it, standing here trying to remember what I want to say and put it out there in a coherent way. But coming up with the ideas and the thought that it might help one person even is what keeps me going. The comments that I receive, and when I hear somebody say it made them think about something or it gave them an idea, that's all I'm really trying to do. I'm just giving you my version of what I'm doing based on my lived experience and my professional experience. After such a rewarding yet physically and mentally exhausting career that I've had for over 30 years, I want to still do something that has some meaning and that gives me purpose. And I figure that with my history, family history of Alzheimer's and my endeavor to stay as healthy as possible by doing things that are, scientifically or evidence-based. Even if making my videos helps one person, even if it sparks or initiates something in you to delve into something further, then that's good for me. Because one of the pillars of longevity is purpose in your life. I need to have purpose in my life. Even though my family is everything to me, I still have that downtime where I need to do something that is meaningful for me, just for me. And doing something like this to put information out there based on all my years of knowledge is something that I want to do. And I think, it's the least I can do. Plus, it scratches that creative itch that I've learned that I have. So it does a multitude of things. Plus, it's such an educational thing, such a learning curve trying to figure out how to make videos and do all these things. So it always is fun because I'm learning new things. All right, let's go back in the kitchen and see how that banana bread turned out. The banana bread looks excellent. I will leave a link to the recipe that I found online. The only thing I changed with it is that I added some vanilla extract because it didn't call for that in the recipe, and I added chocolate chips instead of nuts. If you're navigating changes like I am, I would love to know how you are going through it. Leave me a comment below. And if you want to follow along with mine, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all kinds of content for women 50 and beyond. It really does help the channel spread to more viewers if you subscribe and hit the like button. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great week. Stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.